Hey, how's everyone doing? Good to see you. Welcome on in. So today we're going to have a look at two mods. The first is going to be just released today. It's Tiberian War Iron Shock. It's very much in a beta state, but I'm really excited to have a look at some of this. The models in it look absolutely beautiful, and there was some great work done by the dev team, particularly Miss Sarah. Good to see you, AOD. So going to be having a look at that first, so that'll be good. And then the plan is, after having a look through the various factions and stuff in that, to move on to Warzone and check that out. For those who aren't familiar, I've been currently doing a playthrough of the Warzone campaign, so you can check that out over on YouTube if you're interested. But the idea will be to pop into, for the start, mostly just a few skirmishes for Iron Shock, and then potentially onto Warzone and see how that goes. So, without further ado, if we switch on over to this overlay, nice. To actually get this, it's publicly available, so you can go download this now. You need to have Yuri's Revenge installed, and it's pretty cool seeing this because it's basically Tiberian Sun running on the Yuri's Revenge engine, which is a first for me to see anyway, so it's very cool. It's fairly straightforward to install. Once you have Yuri's Revenge downloaded, you go onto this link, which you can access by using !Iron Shock in the chat. So there's the link, and you download that and put it into your installed folder of Yuri's Revenge, and then you should be good to go. So that's all there is to it. Not a huge amount of information on the actual ModDB page for it. As I say, it's very straightforward. Early access to the beta build. Unzip it on top of refresh Yuri's Revenge, and I can confirm I just did this from scratch last night, so I was able to download it from Origin and pretty much plug and play. It was fairly straightforward, fairly easy. So without further ado, we'll pop it open and have a look. Sweet. Cool. So launcher, very much like most of the modifications for Tiberian Sun / Red Alert. You've got a bunch of the CNCnet lobby stuff along the top. But the key thing that we're going to be looking at here is skirmishes. What's included with this mod is there's currently not campaign missions or anything set up, so this stuff is all to be worked on in future. But we are going to be able to get into a few skirmish games against the AI and see how that ends up looking. And particularly, we're going to be having a look through a few of these different maps just to try them out, see what we're going to see. But we're going to start from the top and work our way down, and tend to go with opposing factions, so GDI versus Nod, and we'll go Steel Talon versus Black Hand and work our way through the list. Some of these models I've already seen look absolutely phenomenal, so I'm actually really excited to get to play some of these. And of course, the colors and the options are here too. We're just going to go, at least initially, just with the default colors per faction to see how it looks. In terms of the map settings that my head is slightly covering up, there's short game, MCV repacks. Super weapons is off by default. I've just turned it on here. Crates appear, build off allies. Multi-engineer is off by default. In-game allying, stolen tech is also off by default. It's not so much a factor in this beta build because, as far as I'm aware, you can't capture your opponent's tech. Destroyable bridges, brutal AI, and all this kind of good stuff. Game speed, we're going to play on, I guess, faster. Try that out, see how it goes. Should be quick enough. Going to play against, I guess hard AI is a good representation just to see what they can throw at us. Why no multi-engineer? So because it's Red Alert, you have some default civilian structures that you can capture, so like tech derricks, oil tech derricks, and those power drop locations and stuff. It's pretty cool, so you're going to check that out. Hard AI isn't that hard, says Lunik. We'll see. But yeah, let's launch into this and have a look and see what's included. So this is pretty much desktop capture, so everything you see here should be more or less what happens when you play the game. It is in beta. You might get this error message, hit OK, minimize this pop-up screen, and this should be it. Cool. So similar to the majority of those setups. One thing I will check is, for whatever reason, my audio is super quiet. There we go. That's better. So yeah, start off. And remember, this is running in Red Alert, but or on Yuri's Revenge, I guess, but it's running on that engine, but still being true very much to the original Tiberian Sun modeling, an ideal overall feel to it. So instead of getting your ore and stuff in Yuri's Revenge, here you're going to have your Tiberian. Let's see, game controls. What are you saying, Linux? Options sound, move everything to 4. Nice, good shit. There we go. Cool. Hopefully that should be a little bit better. Nice and clear. So yeah, starting off, we're playing as GDI. We've got our standard Conyard, which is redeployable by default. Power plant. Got a couple disc throwers. Got a couple scouts. And minigunners possibly. Nice. So yeah, one thing I really like, very similar to Warzone, the Tiberium effects. So rather than just have this spread out Tiberium, it does this thing where it stacks up in these little crystals, which I always enjoyed looking at. Here we have a standard Tiberium refinery, slightly different model, pretty cool looking. We'll go for the barracks next. You can get sentry guns, so you can actually use, this is one of the cooler things about this, and it's something I would really like to see if they do a Tiberian Sun remaster, is actually having access to these different tabs, so defensive structures and primary structures, so you can focus on building both. The thing is, again, because it's a beta, the actual descriptions for some of these units is a little bit off at the moment, but we're still going to be able to build them. For the most part, you're going to have minigunners, disc throwers, I believe these are scouts, and then engineers. So we'll just get a couple of sentry guns down, we'll get our war factory. Again, a lot of these kind of descriptions for the structures and things, I believe at the moment, are very much temporary placeholders, so keep that in mind. But yeah, here we're going to be able to put down a couple of structures, get our guys in section. You got some nice graphics in terms of the actual promotions, so you got little blue lieutenant symbols and stuff like that. It's very cool. We'll get ourselves a war factory set up here. So you got 3 vehicles to start off with. We'll get ourselves a second harvester first, and then we'll try out these 2 units. Radar would be next on our radar, so to speak, to pick up. Similar to Tiberian Sun, like you have Q move in Tib Sun. In Red Alert it's a little bit different. You can use Z to set your waypoints, which is fairly effective, and just let go and let him do his thing. Here we have the Nod player coming in with what looks like some quad bikes and a tic tank. I might actually die here if I'm not careful. Holy shit. This is fine. This is salvageable. Still salvageable. This is what you get when you underestimate the enemy, right? Okay, good thing is that we have a shit ton of cash at the start, so it's not too big of a worry. We just need to make sure to stay alive. Get ourselves a refinery set up. Guys are getting nice and promoted now, which is good. Nice. So we got 2 kinds of vehicles. We got this one, which is primarily a kind of machine gun type style, similar to a Humvee, I guess you might say. The next kind that we have is, what am I missing here? Barracks. The next kind we have is this dude, which is like an APC, but he also does kind of Titan type warhead attacks by the looks of it. Similar to a tic tank. We're going to spam out a bunch of units here. You do have the option to shift click to queue multiple units in groups of 5, which is very nice. And we'll also look at getting ourselves set up with a Orca pad. So we'll do some scaling, sending units across the map. For the beta, I believe you can only have 1 Orca per pad, so you can't spam them out at the moment. You have to build an individual pad for each one. You'll see once this is constructed, I won't be able to build a second one. Wait, blacked out. And here's our Harrier, as it's called in game. These are single shot, quite effective against vehicles. Not so much against structures or infantry, but that's fine. We'll get ourselves our war factory here, set this up, and I guess we'll spam out the Titan type units. See how that goes. Get ourselves a second factory here. Nice. Very cool. This map, there's not any capturable stuff, it looks like. I've only played like 2 of these maps so far. There are crates and things like that. Got ourselves a nice second Conyard here. Sweet. Get ourselves more power, and then we'll go for the what's called a Soviet Battle Lab here. It's basically just your tech center. We'll try that out. Nice. You can set your rally points on these structures, so we can put our armies more further forward, which is nice. We'll go up here, camp their tip field a little bit. Unpack your MCV. Yeah, I'll probably. I was gonna say I'd sell it for cash, but it's probably better at this point just to keep it. You can see our Nod opponent here. It's got the standard laser turrets. You can see the Nod power plants. Some nice models. The radar station. And the familiar Tiberian Sun style hand and nod. So we're going to get down our structure here. This is going to give us access to MCVs. So at the moment it seems that MCVs are tied to your tech center structures. It also gives you the super weapon ability once you place it down currently, if you have super weapons enabled. I think that this is just a placeholder for now. Every faction seems to have access to it from what I've played, but we'll see as we go through the different ones. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This appeared to be a nod, or a... Oh, I forget the name of this faction. We'll see it later on, but basically it's given us access to some of these alternate structures. We won't actually look at them just yet. We'll keep this clean and just look at the GDI structures until we move on to the next faction. So to avoid any confusion, I'll sell this. Nice. In we go. We managed to pull it back, folks. Pretty cool. We have the wall. The wall set up in this is very much like Red Alert. You place down one wall, you get a second wall, and then it builds a line of connection between the two of them, which is nice. So you can see it here. You also have access to SAM sites, so we'll just throw one down so you can see what the model looks like. This Force Shield special ability, it only works on a single structure of yours. It's basically like a Iron Curtain. Keeps it fully defendable, but it also knocks out your power. So here's a look at the SAM site model. Very similar to the Sentry Gun, or what used to be the Vulcan turrets in Tiberian Sun. We'll spam out a few more units here, a few more of these kind of Titan style tanks. One thing we haven't seen in action is the Harrier, so we'll get one of these in. Go for the Harv, see how much damage it does. Just out of curiosity. Seems to be homing shots too, so it's not likely that it'll miss, which is nice. So to get the hand and nod, you got like the standard kind of nod war factory here too, which is cool. I think, yeah, I think we're gonna win this one, boys. Managed to pull it back. Sweet. Meanwhile, back at the base, we get another one of these dudes. To get the power. I'll be curious to see. Does he still have the sentry turret here? He does. I'll be curious to see if he's no power if this still fires. I don't actually know. But he should be out of power now. Will it still fire? It doesn't, right? Yeah, so these require power to work. It's good to know. It's as you would sort of expect too, right? Yeah, you can see, just to show this off, you can put the units inside the APC unit, move them around, all that good stuff, and redeploy it. Very cool. Yeah, so that's a quick look at the GDI setup. We did it! We'll take it. Of course, you got your scoring. There's a nice custom font they use for these menus too. I'm a big fan of it. It's nice, clean, crisp. GG's. So that was a look at GDI. Next up we got Steel Talon. And we'll go for those colors too. Black Hand. We'll try a different map. We'll go with Hidden Valley. So it looks like there's some capturable structures in this map, so we'll get to build some engineers, see how that goes. So yeah, Steel Talons, let's go. Again, hit OK, minimize this. So you can see there would have been a huge amount of work to try and get this all set up and working. Some nice lighting effects too on the maps, very visually appealing. Of course, you got some crates. So similar to before, we're going to get our power plant down. I would expect Steel Talon is known to be like a sub-faction of GDI, so I'd be curious if this is any different at all in terms of the structures. I suspect it won't necessarily be, but we shall see. We got disc throwers, minigunners, scouts, and a couple of engineers. We get the sentry gun down. This time we can try and not instantly die to the AI, would be nice. And of course we'll use some of the waypoint action. Nice, nice. These scout units have quite large vision, which is pretty cool. I'm gonna stick down an extra turret. The default starting tib is actually quite high, which is a nice thing for us just while we're testing this out, but you can obviously customize that in the main menu before you get into the mission. So if you want to play a more competitive style, you can do that. Nice. So we'll get down some more turrets. You can see the slight color variation. This reminds me more of the original Tib Sun Gold for GDI. Over here we have the Black Hand, kind of like this metallic color. You can see the health icon here from the hospital we captured. Slight variation in terms of the actual harvester refinery appearance. And here we're going to have we can't build off turrets. It's useful to note. You have the war factory. And it looks like the Talons are actually going to get access to a Titan and Wolverine, as opposed to the Humvee and sort of Titan-like APC unit that GDI had. And here we have our first Titan coming out, looking nice. It looks like this is a tech machine shop, yeah, so that's going to be repairing, hence the repair icon on this dude. Very nice. We got our Wolverine. The Wolverine model is pretty cool. It's a little bit different to what you might normally expect. The Titan, of course, looking very similar to how it does in the Warzone mods, which we'll check out later on. You can see here, fairly straightforward. Titans tend to be good turret units. Wolverines tend to be good as anti-infantry. So we're just going to spam a load of stuff now and move into our opponent pretty quickly. Going to need power to do that. Rim task, good to see you. GDI has an APC with the RPG turret. Yeah, that's what we were looking at in the game just before this. That's pretty cool. We'll see if the Talons have an alternate Orca type setup, or if they'll also have access to the Harrier type unit. Here we're going to see the SAM cycle now. Fairly nice. We've got quite a large army here. I think we should be okay to perhaps push into our opponent. Key thing to remember, this is very much a beta build, so we are limited in the level of tech that we do have access to. And in terms of difficulty, even though we're playing it on hard, this still needs to be customized a little bit. I've found the variation. I've played 1 or 2 games on easy, normal, and hard. I think the key difference is on easy, they don't tend to build the walls and stuff around their key structures. They also don't tend to attack you as much, I believe. Here you can see, of course, once the tech center goes down, you have access to the force shield super weapon again. What else? I think that's all of these structures we've seen. We have access to this Harrier unit again, so similar to before's GDI. This tends to be quite more beneficial against vehicles as opposed to actual structures. But yeah, we'll engage here, see how this goes. The aircraft gameplay right now is very poor. I mean, yeah, I think it's just a case that they put down single air units at the moment. I suspect more is to come in future, and I'm also not sure if the nod aircraft actually work at the moment. But we'll see as we go through the different factions how they play out. I do really like the kind of grey-black shade that's going on here for the opponent player. It's quite nice, appealingly attractive. The lighting effects are nice too. And for those who aren't familiar with Warzone or Iron Shock, I mean Iron Shock's only just out, but for both games you can hit the home key. It's a little bit glitched in that it'll slide you to the left hand side, but you can actually toggle on a bunch of the custom effects, so stuff like adaptive fog. Like you'll get, your mileage will vary by what you decide to enable or disable in here, but you can get some pretty cool effects going on depending on what you're actually looking to do and what your personal preferences are. I'm for the most part just using it on the default settings, but it's good to know that you can customize it. It's very cool. So if you're doing like a series or something like that and you want to have a particularly effective aesthetic, you can totally go in and do that. And here we can see the area effect on that. So long as you're covering a few buildings in the radius, it'll do. Reshade, yeah, that's it, Lumic. That's it. It's used in a couple of other Tib Sun mods as well, I believe. I think the cool thing is seeing it being used here in the Red Alert engine. I don't know how often that it's been utilized or if it's popular enough. I'm not super familiar with the actual game development side of things. I've got some dev experience, but not to the level of being familiar what the reshade setup is. You can install it to every game. Nice, nice. Useful to know. I think this will be the last turret. It's currently defaulting to structures only, so we can wipe them out pretty quick. Nice. Some placeholder soundtracks are cool too. Favorite part with the balancing is that miniguns deal bonkers amount of damage to structures. Interesting. I would say that's likely to do with the warhead settings. So that was Steel Talons. Next up we got ZOCOM versus the Marked of Kane. Is there a ZOCOM color? Don't think there necessarily is. Civilian's probably the closest to it. Maybe Traveler 69. There's no Traveler 69. Yeah, there's no Traveler 69 faction, so maybe we'll just go with that. What do you think? Yeah, let's go with that. And the Marked of Kane. We'll go with Marked of Kane, Traveler 69. We'll kind of work our way down the list. Phoenix? Question mark? You can try out. See how that looks. Try the next map. Go for Isle of War. And launch game. See how this goes. Hitting OK. Minimize this. Cool, cool, cool. Nice. So we're spawning on the right side, bottom right side of the map. Again, aesthetics very nice. Different lighting for the maps. And looks like this is going to be the first time seeing some blue tip. Always been a huge fan of how the Tiberian glow effects look in Warzone, so it's very nice to see the aesthetics that they're using for this. It's pretty cool. We'll build a couple of each one of these units. Looks like ZOCOM here, again, using very similar units to the base GDI army, as I guess you would expect. See some nice clusters going on here. Very reminiscent. There's a couple of maps in Warzone in the skirmishes that you can play that were initially built as Iron Shock maps, but I think the devs opted to go for a port to Yuri's Revenge just because of the things that they were trying to do were quite ambitious and they were getting limited by the Tib Sun engine, so they made some changes. But there are some nice maps in the skirmishes of Warzone where you can see this kind of element throughout, as kind of little suggestions that there'll be a bunch of this aesthetic in Iron Shock. Yeah, so far so good. Get ourselves this, and it looks like we're going to get, which is effectively, I'm going to call a Humvee, and then as Rimtas pointed out earlier, what sort of a rocket APC, just to verify this is still a Humvee. Yeah, looks good. Get the radar set up. Pretty cool. Go over towards here. We'll send these guys this way. Nice. Get the radar set up. We'll go for the helipad. Get an extra harvester, and then we'll spam a bunch of these rocket APCs. It's pretty cool. We'll build a SAM site just for good measure. And I expect it'll be a Harrier available to us. Yeah. So this is the single shot kind of air unit that they currently have. The Tibsun engine just couldn't handle the multi-faction thing. It crashed after some time and the reason was unknown, so Mercia decided for your own. Nice, nice. It's good to know, isn't it? I'm only like trying to put 2 and 2 together. You're one of the devs, Rim, right? I think I've only chatted to you briefly once or twice. Get some more power action going on here. Yeah, nice. Welcome on in, dude. It's good to have you. If I'm missing anything important to show off, be sure to shout. Tech center. Yeah, get ourselves a tech center. It's interesting that the ZOCOM vocals here are a mixture of like nod kind of expectations versus the GDI here. It's kind of cool indication of what you can possibly do with the altering factions. So there's our tech center, and again you get the force shield super weapon by default. We'll build a few more of these rocket dudes and swarm the enemy. Interesting that they haven't actually pushed into us to attack much. Unlike the last couple games. I'm not sure if the individual factions have different AI styles built in. We'll see. I haven't tried squishing infantry yet, so we'll see if this works. Yeah, it does. A little bit on the slow side, but it works. I also imagine it being a difficult challenge trying to figure out how to get all the elevation aspects working in this. So again, fair play to the devs for managing to put it together. I imagine usually it's the case in these games if you have multiple production buildings, it'll speed up the rate of production of those units. So if you've got multiple con yards, your buildings tend to go faster. It'll be the same if you've got like multiple Raxes or multiple handed odds or barracks. So I'm just curious to see if that's the case. In the meantime, we'll just pile up a bunch of different units here. Why not? Why not? We'll do a little bit of aggression here. Harrier's not going to do too much damage. If we have just a quick look at the production speed here, does it go up? It does, by quite a bit. Nice. Very cool. Alright, ZOCOM boys, let's go. Standard X scatter hotkey G mode applies. You can put them on guard. AI liking to wall off the Conyard and the tech centers. If you're playing base ORA, it's quite valuable in terms of getting spies into it. Also, in case you want to protect it against engineers. I'll take out the weapons here. I want to scatter our infantry so it doesn't get crushed by the harvesters. Nice. You can set these to primary as well, I assume. It should work. Looking at the primary building. Yes, it will. Nice. Back in the old Iron Shock versions, vehicles were made so fast that you needed about 4 war factories to actually start producing vehicles efficiently. Nice. Oh, it's the okay, so this is a known bug with this faction. The raiders are invincible. So I actually need to build an engineer to capture it, right? That should let us win. Is it only for this one faction that applies? pretty funny having radar be OP, right? So far, so good. We have our radar down. Keep it invincible, why not? The Nod radar is shared through the Nod, Black Hand, and Marked. Ah, okay, so anyone who access to the Nod radar is going to be, regardless of who it is, once they have it, that's it. It's invincible. Got it. Invincible except for engineers, of course. Like all good Command and Conquer games, nothing can beat the OP-ness of that. So that was ZOCOM. So we see Nod, Black Hand, and Marked of Kane sort of on both sides. So I'll actually go to... I want to play as all 4 of these ones. So we'll flip it around. I'll go as Scrin against... what do we think? GDI? Not yet, Rim. Not yet. I'm trying to work my way down the list. So Scrin, Cabal, Forgotten, and Corp. Civilians aren't an option to play, I don't think. Although I guess Corp is civilians, right? So yeah, we'll go for some Scrin action. And see how that goes. Change colors to Scrin. We'll try a different color here for GDI player. Go for the Forgotten. Seems good. I'll check this out. Let's go. Different map. Try Meat Grinder. Yeah. Of all the models and stuff that I've seen so far, the Scrin is the most. So I haven't seen all of them, but the Scrin stuff looks absolutely amazing. I love the lighting effects and things that they have going for it. And this will be the first time we see something with a very different aesthetic to the GDI. And so here we have our MCV. You can see it zipping around. It's pretty cool. So we can deploy this, get our power plant up. We have our infantry here. So these guys fire kind of volley of shots, whereas these guys are more machine gun kind of based. Like, look at the effects, they're so good, man. I really like the aesthetics of this. It's just so nice. So you'll be able to build a couple of these guys, each faction has like this sort of attack dog type setup too. The sentry guns, there's 2 of them that the Scrin have access to. Both can shoot on land. I think the second one here can shoot up as well as anti-air. So far, so good. Here's our little engineer dude. All the tentacle action going on. Love to see it. So we'll get down our nice refinery with a little sea pancakes up in the air. Love to see it. Cool. And actually the Scrin are getting a different super weapon. They're actually getting the... Oh, it's because we captured the tech building. So we get a power drop here. Curious to see what it drops. I think it just gives you a mix of the 3 infantry types of each faction when you get it. So we'll see what it pops out. This is going to be the radar tower. Pretty cool, pretty cool. And then we got... What am I missing? We need tanks, right? So we want the war factory. Nice. So you can see the opponent GDI player going to do a little drop here. In he comes. It's okay though, we're ready for him. We're going to try estimate roughly whereabouts his base is and do our own power drop. See how this goes. You can see the plane coming on in. I think we'll get vision as soon as the troopers leave the plane. Meanwhile, here's our war factory going down. We'll get the battle lab next. Oh, look at that, right on top of the con yard. How good is that for estimation? Gonna get wrecked, but still pretty nice. Cool to see the green GDI. Some nice effects. But yeah, like just the particle effects and things on these structures is very, very cool. I'm a big fan. We'll keep a few infantry around here. We should probably get a turret position around here. You can see this guy shoot too, sending off these little swarms. We'll get a regular sentry turret down too, so you can see that firing. It tends to be quite similar to like the nod laser turret, just with a different coloring, which is still nice. I quite like it. We're going to get down the Soviet Battle Lab here, get more power. That'll enable us to have our super weapon, which is the Force Shield, to be expected. The only thing I noticed with the Scrin stuff is the Air Force Command Center. So this is like your Orcapad equivalent. I don't believe there's any Scrin air units enabled in the mod just yet, or at least that was the impression that I had gotten from the time I played it. So if I pop this down, you'll see, yeah, I can't build anything here. I can set it as a primary building, which is interesting. Worth pointing out as well, I haven't showed this off, that if you click on the individual power structures for each faction, it'll show you the current power usage as well as the drain. I'm just going to lose this turret. Nice. We'll get another war factory. Holy crap, the GDI player is coming in strong here. Get this. Get some power action going. Looks like we actually got some rocket men from, I guess these are from the start or from power drop. Oh, not rocket men, sorry, it's these dudes. Very similar in appearance to the rocket men. Lost their power drops, sad face. That's alright. We'll make it work. Built the extra harv here. I built these are all harvesters I'm currently building. I have like a swarm of harvesters built by accident. Okay. We'll put the primary here and start seeing some of the Scrin tanks. Make sure that this stays repaired. Cool. We'll get another type of defensive structure set up. So here's our tanks. This needs to be repaired too. Send our harvester over that way. So these are very similar to Titans from what I've seen in terms of their attack. Fires kind of more like a laser, I suppose, but it's pretty cool. The rally point's not working. Okay, so that's no stress. We got this guy shaking his fat butt. This is kind of like a flame tank, but it's more chemical, so you can see it like shoots out a spray. And we'll see how effective it is on these units here. So you can see it shoots off the Tiberian gas. Oh, we're gonna lose the war factory. Crap. It's fine, we can rebuild it. What do we want? I guess a few of these, a few of these, a few of these. Get some more blue tip action going on over here. It's pretty cool. I suppose you'd need to move your Conyers, which you can do. It's redeployable by default to get a further ref, or you can move across the bridge here. What do you want? You want another one of these? I think we just want to focus on getting the Titan type structure there. Yeah, rally point is not quite working, but it's alright. What do we pick up there? I'm assuming it's extra damage for that unit in that crate. We're sending in the Scrin forces. It's pretty cool. I suppose it is worth noting that you also can't use this Force Shield on opponents. I don't know why you would. I'm not actually sure if you could use it on allies. We'll possibly do up a quick 2v2 with an ally and see how it goes. Just to see if we are actually enabled to use superpowers like that. I am curious to see if the flame tank does good damage against structures. It does do some damage. Cool. It's useful to know. We'll take all these boys, bring them on up. Fall back. Nice. Okay, this force should hopefully be enough to take this guy out. I suppose we can redeploy our Conyard, may as well. Move him up here a little bit. Deploy him around here, get a ref here. Or can even move him all the way up here. As I say, eco's not really a huge problem. We've got our promoted units. I really like the coloring effects of the promotions. The blue symbol and stuff, pretty cool. Can these squish infantry? Hard to say. Let's see if we can try check this. Of course he's running away. Hey Mango, it's good to see you, dude. Hope you're doing well. So there's our flame tank. We'll see if he can squash these. A little bit difficult to test. It's 29 degrees C. Yeah, it's quite warm here in Ireland as well at the moment. Unexpected, like we can't really deal with a little bit of heat. But we're powering on through. Having a difficult time against this GDI opponent. I'm not sure if just because I'm unfamiliar with Scrin, or if it's maybe a balance thing. Maybe GDI are just kind of strong and difficult to deal with. We'll set up some defenses here since we're so far forward. Maybe get a nice war factory. Oh, here he comes. Apparently I'm massing engineers. I don't want engineers, right? I mean, I could try just send them in, see if we can capture his base. It wasn't intentional, but hey, we'll take it. I have a feeling that these sentry guns, the balls, are slightly more effective at dealing with infantry, because it sends these swarms. It's kind of like a flame turret sort of effect. We want a forward war factory up here. Please don't take that out. Oh, I'm gonna lose my MCV. Run away! Looks really good. Yeah, the graphical effects are really cool. Are we going to have our first loss here? Possibly. It's missing just the soundtrack. Yeah, it's so far, like, everything I'm seeing from it is pretty great. Like, granted, I'm not particularly winning this mission. GDI player is kicking my ass, but it's a good demonstration of the actual map. See if we can get a base race scenario here. Hey, Lupus! Cheers for the follow, dude. Appreciate it. I think it's just due to the more squishy nature of all the Scrin units, possibly, that I'm having difficulties. I've actually accidentally captured this power plant, but it'll work in my favor because he'll now have to come all the way up here to try and take me out. Let's take out the Conyard. Let's take out his production buildings. See if we can pull back a win here somehow. May as well use this. Oh, it's on hold because I'm low power. Really? That's a rough time. Okay, we'll try to get the Conyard. Boys scuttling on up. Nice. We can't produce units anymore, which is excellent. I want to get this airfield so he can't get a para drop on me up here. Move away from the turrets. Am I going to be able to get this? These flame tanks are useless against structures from the looks of things. Let's see, can we sell? I have the turret here. Doing some nice work. Keeping us just about alive. Did we get this? We did. Nice. So the turrets here are going to be tanking up the damage while these go for the turret. Nice. I think we've done it, boys. Does Vulcan Tower still require power? So I have low power and these are still firing, which I'm guessing are the equivalent. So these seem to function without power. The Nod laser turrets do need power, so they may still require this GDI. We can test it. Yeah, the enemy Vulcan towers were still hitting me, even though he had one power plant and like a bunch of structures, so it seemed to be favorable for him. The reason why GDI is beating you up is because GDI is fast-firing units that deal massive DPM. Meanwhile, Scrin uses the same damage but slow-firing weapons. Balance is going to be after everything is implemented. Gotcha, because you were mentioning earlier that the minigunner infantry seem to be quite OP at the moment. So that would make sense, because you've got a whole bunch of minigunners, disc throwers, the Wolverine units. Yeah, nice, nice. This is going to take forever to kill this thing. It might even be... Is this invincible? Or just because he's got so much cash to repair it? Can I do the AOD classic here and like block the entrance to the referee unit? No, I don't think you can pull that off in this game. Can't take out the individual hearts though. They won't really be able to repair it. They got a couple of loose infantry here, but yeah, looks like pretty fun map. I'll leave it there. I don't want to like draw this out too much. It's not super exciting watching these guys. What I would end up doing is trying to micro these two units or sell a bunch of this stuff. Do you get infantry back for selling this stuff as Scrin? Yeah, you get a couple of loose infantry. But yeah, it's gonna be it for Scrin. It's pretty cool to see. Very different faction. As I said, graphically super appealing. There were also tech refineries behind me I should have captured, but that's alright. You can see the difference here in terms of the kills. 259 to 162. Losses, built, score. Nice. It's pretty fun. Yeah, killing the harvesters and then the refinery would be the right way to go about winning the rest of that match. Next up we got Cabal. Against Steel Talons. Cabal. What color will we go against? Yeah, let's see some black hand color GDI. Why not? Different map. It's a funky looking one. Let's check it out. Money, not like this. I know, right? Dun, 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 dun. Cool. So we're playing as Cabal now. So this will be our first look really at some first-hand Nod players. So you got a couple of these like cyborg commandos. You got a couple of these, which is kind of like the GDI commando model. Reminds you a little bit of it from Tib Resurrection. So we got a little tip field here. We got some interesting smoke effects. Pretty cool. Gonna get our Hana Nod down. Get a refinery. Love the funky lights you got here at the top left of the Conyard model. It's pretty cool. And we got the Citadel walls and we got a little sentry turret. So we'll build one of each of these. The Terror Drone model being used as the attack dog of sorts here. The map is dark and units blend in with the terrain, making it difficult to notice units. I guess part of that is down to me choosing the dark blue. I could go in here and feck around with the settings a little bit, but I'm just going to do the default for now, just to have a quick look at some of this stuff. So it looks like Cabal's actually does not get a harvester. It's more of a kind of like the Yuri slave miner setup, except this isn't movable, but you get like multiple units to pick up the two. Curious how that works out in balance. We'll build a few cyborgs. Or are these not going to be cyborgs? It's a little bit confusing having these as the exact same placeholder icon, but I understand it. This is the cheaper one, so it's going to be the cheap commandos, whereas this is going to be the actual cyborg type units. Here's going to be our war factory. What units are we going to get access to? We'll build one of these. These are again placeholder images for some of these factions, but we'll see what Cabal gets. So their sort of Humvee quad bike solution is actually going to be like a quad bike. Very cool. That's nice. And their Tic Tank solution, we'll see, is going to be Tic Tank. Cool. So it's all as expected. Get ourselves a radar, a couple more sentry turrets. We can spam out a bunch of cyborgs and a few Tic Tanks. Cool. Normal units not must depend on color to avoid that. They normally must be noticeable. Guess a limitation from the engine. Possibly. Again, like some of these maps are relatively new, so there's a whole bunch of considerations there. Get the power for the Soviet Battle Lab, and we'll build a Patriot missile, a SAM site, I guess, and see how the model looks for that, just to try it out. Love the radar model that they actually have too. It's cool particle effects, little ball on top. We'll try building a, I think it's a gunship is the default here. But we'll see. Yeah, cheers, Rim. Thanks for dropping by. Really cool to see the mod so far. And I appreciate you hanging out. So here we have the siege chopper. As far as I know, siege choppers don't work yet, from my experience, but we'll see if we can get one. And here's a look at our SAM site. It's got a huge range. It's pretty cool. It would be nice if you clicked on these, you could see the radius of the range, and not only when you go to place it, but I can understand why that might be the case. Yeah, and we don't get the chopper, sadly. Nice. So we need to take all of our units. And we'll try send it. See what happens. We can build an engineer, see what that looks like. Funky model, little running dude, a little bit different. They need to shoot through the walls to actually do damage to this thing. They're getting torn apart by the GDI infantry. Oof. See some nice smoke effects from the destruction of the factory there. We'll get our power plant back up and running. Can this be garrisoned? These are like RA2 assets, I imagine. Can they be? Nah, I don't think so. Nah, just for aesthetic purposes. We're gonna need a lot more units. See if we can mass Tic Tanks and take out the enemy. As mentioned before, GDI seems to be a little bit overpowered just in terms of their pure gunplay. Of their minigunners and their Vulcan towers being super powerful. Hey, Blackhand, good to see you. Welcome on in. Yeah, it's pretty cool. So this has just been released today. It's the beta of Iron Shock for those who are just popping in. You can download it, it's free. You just need the base installation of Yuri's Revenge, and then you add the modded files on top of it. So far there's no campaign missions or anything like that, it's just skirmishes, and I think you can play on CNCnet potentially. I haven't really tested it though. Not quite sure if that's configured yet or not. But yeah, it's very nice. Like, and the fact that this is like if you had a look at this screen here alone, like you would swear that this is Tib Sun, like besides the UI-ish elements to the right and bottom, but like it feels very much like Tib Sun when I'm playing it, which is a super impressive feat to do when it's on like Fury's Revenge engine, right? So I think they've really nailed the feel for it, and like huge props to the devs as well, because there's a bit of a push on them trying to get this out for the anniversary events. I think they were originally planning to try to get it out more towards the end of the year, or they were initially trying to get it. Well, like there's a number of issues with that, right? And also trying to get familiar with the Ori 2 engine, so it's cool. And again, Force Shield, just to show this off. It'll affect all buildings in a radius. Keeps you on no power, but that's fine. Gonna camp his halves here. Should be good. These tick tanks, you can't deploy them. They're just basic tanks. I seem to have bought some engineers with me. So that's kind of cool. Whoops. I think we're going to win this one, boys. Walls are putting up a bit of difficulty. I guess it's blocking all the shots from the cyborgs and only the tanks are really hitting it. It's pretty cool. Nice. So for our first Nod faction that we're playing, it's pretty fun. Enjoy hitting up Cabal. Like the models a lot. Like I said, the comp center model is pretty cool. It's different too. Oh, here's our... Wait, what? So the siege chopper did spawn, but it spawned on the radar? That's kind of weird. And it looks like it has the same kind of fire effect as... That's kind of strange. I didn't expect it to come out of this. Doesn't really make sense to me, but alright. But yeah, similar to the GDI equivalent. It basically does the single shot fire. Useful against tanks. It's okay against buildings. It's kind of crap against infantry. But yeah, pretty cool. And again, like the lighting effects. It's very nice. And of course, you can access both this and Warzone for free. You can say Yuri's Revenge does require you own the base game for copyright reasons and to put the mod files on top of it, but the Tiberian War Warzone is its own standalone thing too. So next up, the Forgotten. Let's try against the Scrin. Let's see, what color do we want to be? What colors haven't we been yet? We've seen some green action from the opponent. We can try purple. Why not? Against the Scrin, what would be good? Scrin color, something nice and bright, I guess. The Forgotten should work. Load up the next map. Pinch point. Looks good. Sweet. Again, just hit OK. Minimize this screen. And bring up the next map. Nice. Alright, so for the unit models, we can see there's a couple of rocket men. You got these mutant type characters. It's an interesting Conyard variation to the basic one that you tend to see. Having the Nod based power plant, and very funky model that they have here with the turbine on top. Got the barracks going down. Barracks also a completely new model, or looks very new. It looks like their key buildings here are just based on the mutants. So you got your minigunner, you got your Tiberian Fiend. But I think, unlike in the other Tib Sun games, the Tiberian Fiend here doesn't shoot a projectile, it just jumps on top of your infantry like this. So it acts as an attack dog, which is what the intention of it here is. There's our rocket man, and then our standard minigunner. And this is our engineer, I think. It's using the was it Hijacker is the name of the model in base Tib Sun, or something very similar to it. So we'll build ourselves up a couple of infantry, get some extra power, and then get a war factory down. See how that model looks. Again, pretty cool seeing this. I've always been a big fan of the Tib Fiend models in general. I'll put these on guard mode, see how they tear through the Scrin. Should be nice. Yeah, that's what we're talking about. We'll get some sentry guns down. So it looks like the Forgotten's going to use the old school Nod laser turrets. We're going to have our first war factory. So we'll go with the buggy, tank, and Harv. So having a look at their buggy. This is their buggy equivalent, so it's practically a Humvee. This is the single shots. Get the radar down. This is like their rocket APC as well, so it's very similar to the base GDI faction from the looks of things. Interesting that their turret here is actually, it's not the Nod laser turret, it's actually this sort of machine gun type projectile. They also have SAM sights. You can put this down, more or less it's very as expected, straightforward SAM sight. And again, once you get these tech centers, you're able to get the MCV, and it also unlocks your super weapon of choice if you have them turned on. So we're going to mass the rocket APCs. Although, as we're against Scrin, maybe we don't need so many. We'll do a few, and then we'll get a few of the Humvees. We'll put down our helipad again, see if we can get a siege chopper, but again, like last time, there were a bunch of issues with it. Maybe it'll spawn on top of the radar dome here, like before. But we'll check it out. Get ourselves a second war factory, speed up production. I do like the combination here, like they're using elements of both the Nod and GDI base factions for their modeling, and for a faction called the Forgotten, which I'm assuming is going to be loosely based on like the mutants using the tech of the remnants of GDI and Nod. That makes a lot of sense. So we're going to speed up production with 2 of these. Check out the map a little bit. There's a lot of cool assets that they have on these maps too. I do like the different layers that the effort they put into having the various layers by default on the map. Some of the Tib Sun maps, even though they'll have that stuff enabled, it will usually be player made. So it's only after you've like exploded a unit or something you'll have those big dips in the environment. But having some predefined is always very nice. Gives a very natural feel to the map. Get this big boy. Come on. Yeah. I like the little corpses too. It's a nice touch. How we doing? We'll get a bunch of fiends. They seem to be pretty effective against the Scrin units. We're in a little bit of trouble here. Damn, son. Say what? Damn, kicked my ass. What am I missing here? So I have the barracks. Missing a refinery. Thankfully I've got 17k, so it's not a huge problem. Nightbot spamming it. Weird. I don't mind too much. It's useful for people to know that the links are there anyway. If you do have any difficulties or anything trying to get set up with Iron Shop, you can of course ping the Warzone Discord or the Anniversary Discord or my own Discord, and we'll try help you out. But it should be a relatively straightforward process for you, hopefully. I'm kind of paranoid they might snipe my stuff again, so I'm going to build an extra Conyard now while I can. Or an extra refinery. I should also probably build an extra Conyard. They seem to love coming in to try and snipe it. What's under... Oh, it's over here. I was like, what's under attack? They're trying to take out the invincible Nod radar that we mentioned earlier. It seems that this model in the remaster is currently just bugged. We did get our siege chopper. It spawned on top of the comm center, interestingly enough. So similar to before, so that seems to be a little bit of a bug. MCV gone. They took out my MCV? You kidding me? What? Rip. How did I not see that? Oh man, can I just crush these? Kind of? That's kind of effective. It was mostly the doggies that took care of it though. The little fiends. It's fine. I'm a little bit worried attacking into this player's base because they seem to be kicking my ass. Again, it's the first time we're playing against a Scrin opponent. But the kind of hounds, aka like the Tiberian fiends, seem to be just shredding them, which is great. Man, look at these models, they just look so good! They've done a real good job with the Scrin modeling in this. What's going on? It's a little bit difficult to see what exactly is happening here. But I'm gonna assume I'm winning. And we've gotten our MCV. No? Yeah, we got our MCV here. Cool. Nice. We'll try to take out their static defenses, then their war factory. Takes a while to get used to what each one of these individual buildings actually is, but it's fairly distinctive. Keep spamming units. Try some Q moving so you can attack a structure and then Q the waypoint to move after it. It's not, I would say it's not as effective as I would tend to use it in Tib Sun. But again, I'm not super familiar with the RA2 engine and how that micro works out. Oh, I've got a Conyard here. What? Sure, okay. I seem to have accidentally bought this guy all the way on the right. That's okay. Maybe we can salvage him while these rocket men come in. His MCV is still alive. It's this structure here. He has a lot of static defenses though. Okay. I think we're alright now. Good to note that the Conyard MCVs, if they're hotkeyed, keep it even after they're deployed. And now that he doesn't have an MCV anymore to get the turrets, he can't rebuild them. And we should be in a winning situation. Should be in a winning situation. I'm out of cash though, which isn't good. Might get a forward racks up here. We'll send our units up towards here and snipe their harbs, kind of cut out their eco. Meanwhile, our harbs are down here, pretty happy. This guy's stopped for some reason. Two different models of harvesters. This one might have been just picked up from a crate or something. It's interesting. Seeing the Tib explode here after being shot on, always a nice surprise. Nice. There's some good screen shake and explosive effects when you get those key structures and harvesters too, so that's very nice to see. Does he have? Did he rebuild his MCV? I think he did. That's kind of annoying. Let's try and do as much damage here as we can. If we take out his eco, he might not be able to actually afford to rebuild anything. But we do need to get some of this action going. Nice. So that's all of his refineries down. Gonna have the fiends here hopefully do some good damage. Nice. Again, I'm quite low on cash. This guy seems to be bugging out a little bit. I have to manually keep telling him to go back and get 2. A little bit of a tricky situation. I can try and use this attack copter on their harves if there are any left. Yeah, he's got a few harves here. We'll pull the fiends back at the rocket. These are just out of range, I think, of this turret. I'm gonna sell this because I'm not actually using it. Nice. It's doing pretty good. I'm having a difficult time trying to break through this now. Want to get some more fiends. What we could do is build a sentry turret here. We can slap this down. Nice. Again, still pretty low on cash. Crate up here. Get some of that. We'll actually see if the chopper can pick up the crate. Probably not. Looks like he hats off it. No, we got it. Okay. That's useful to know. So you can be a bit cheesy in terms of picking up these crates if you have one of your air units. Hey, Lysander Becker. Cheers for the follow, dude. Appreciate the support. Oh, he captured my shit. No! Okay. We want to get a hand and nod here. While these take out some of the harvesters. Like if we can just camp and take out all the harvesters, we should be in a decent position. Okay. Hey, Blackhand, cheers for the follow, dude. I need to move my alert thingy after this game. Oh, it's not looking good for Danku. It's not looking good for Danku. See if we can pick up this crate. Okay, so I lost my MCV. It's coming in with the forces here. It's gonna be a GG. It looks like the Scrin's gonna take it here against the Forgotten. Pretty close matchup. It felt quite fair. I think I got to a point where losing my Conyard here was a big pain, and I spent a lot of money. Running out of that starting cash kind of threw me off. It's probably down to the map more than anything else though. Again, you have a big chunk of starting tip here, but not here and here, right? So the long distance mining tends to catch up with you, and they were able to keep repairing and rebuilding their stuff so quick. I had thought once I'd taken out the initial Conyard that it was good, but forgot that he could rebuild it with his own war factory. and he seems to be able to get these 3 or 4 reps back up with very minimal issues. I don't know how the AI works in terms of its build structure and stuff, or if they just have like unlimited funds, or if they are actually reliant on this cash to rebuild. I imagine they probably start off with an excess amount, and then after that point they just have to rely on the tib on the field. But yeah, we'll call that match there. We'll concede admirably to our opponent. Yeah, no, the Scrin looks amazing, meds. The model work they did here is fantastic, and this is in so it's funny, right? Because it was originally meant to be done in the Tib Sun engine, but this is actually running on Yuri's Revenge because some of the stuff that they wanted to do in it. They did a real great job of making it feel completely like Tib Sun, first of all, but also just the aesthetics of it they're pretty damn good. Now let me just have a quick check of this and put this here. Nice, cool. So that was the Forgotten. So the last faction we need to check out here is Corp, which I believe is also, as Finn was saying earlier, civilians. And we'll go up against GDI is quite OP. We can go up against the Forgotten. We can see how that lines up. Yeah, exactly, Lindsay. A lot more of features enabled with the move to Yuri's Revenge. As we were saying earlier, it seemed to be a lot of the stuff with multiple factions playing a huge part in that. So it plays the civilian colors. Will play as the civilian colors against the AI, who will be who do we want to play? Forgotten. See how they are actually to play against, and we'll give them their default color, and we'll take the civilian color. Nice. We'll try this one. Cool. Let's get into it. Oh, I like the white. This is already very nice. So the infantry that you seem to have is this like scouting type unit, and these infantry. So kind of like a cyborg and minigunner. In terms of the actual model, so far it seems to be primarily GDI for the corps. Looks like we got a capturable structure up here. Oh, we got some extra units here. This is very different. Okay, so we get the 2 engineers first to set up our eco using the hijacker type model again. It's pretty cool to I actually really like this model. Little run on the dude, it's pretty cool. So you got the standard minigunner, we got this guy, we got these 2 which are different. You usually have an attack dog of some sort, so this guy is different and this is different. So this is gonna be this unit, who is like super slow and can't do damage. Okay, bit of a meme. And then here we have this, which I'm guessing these are like the dev team or something. That's kind of cool. But yeah, Meds, you probably haven't seen the earlier stuff, but yeah, they did a great job of like getting this to feel like Tib Sun in this engine. Like the Tiberian effects look awesome. These beam units, I don't know what's going on with them. I'm gonna have to ask the devs afterwards to see what the hell. Hey Hyper, how's it going? Good to see you. It's going great. Having a great time looking through these factions. So far I'm most impressed with the appearance of the Scrin units for sure. But this other stuff is fun. There seems to be some weird units for this one particular faction, namely this mob thing, these 2, which I'm guessing are just the devs having a bit of fun. So we'll throw down C. These guys have this kind of sentry turret as well, which is nice. We get our war factory. Because we're back during a GDI faction, usually these GDI factions tend to have had the most effective air that was more reliable. This is a different looking unit though. It's going for a siege chopper, which tends to be more nod focused. So this is kind of curious. It's a bit of a strange faction, this one. I wonder if it's like their equivalent of a special faction to do like special stuff when you're doing single player scripting. You just enable this faction that does some of these more peculiar things. but we'll see. War Factory. What weapons do we got? This looks like it's a... They actually have these models. They should really use these for the other factions that have the Humvee and tank type setups. But yeah, here's our Humvee, which is pretty much identical to a Tiberian Dawn Humvee from the looks of it. It's pretty cool. And this looks like a medium tank. Hell yeah. Alright, now we're just like back home. This is just playing CNC Remastered. This is perfect. No repair boxes actually is a good thing to notice, so you can't repair this bridge. So far so good. What are we gonna want? A couple of these. Yeah, you played some of the Reborn stuff yesterday, Lunik, right? It was cool. It was sad to hear about some of the server issues that they were having, but I do think that they managed to get some content up in the end, which is good. It's great to see someone in the community just hanging out, playing games together, having a good time, showing off a lot of the work that people put into this stuff. Like, it's all totally unpaid and just off their own back, which is great. So here's another sentry turret. Interesting, we don't have access to a SAM site as this faction. Do they have any anti-air? Maybe? I guess they don't have access to anti-air, right? Because the Humvees don't shoot up, the tanks don't shoot up, the siege chopper doesn't shoot up. They've got no form of rocket men. They don't have access to a SAM site structure. I don't think I'm missing any of the structures. Have the racks, have the war factory, have all that good stuff. But they do have Humvees and medium tanks, so it's hard to not like that. I guess we'll set our waypoints to like here. It's a bit of a weird map. You can tell it was built more so for Red Alert, I guess, just because you can't capture this. If you could capture this and get it across here, it'd be great. Maybe there's a pillbox on this side you can use to repair it. Unknown. We'll send some units, see if we can make it work out. We'll get another refinery. Probably sentry and Humvee anti-air. We can try test it. I don't think that those worked. Do we have our dude here? We do. So this is a weird, I'm assuming unintentional glitch. Any of the nod air units don't seem to construct properly, but if you build one, it will seemingly show up here on the actual comm center instead of the pads, which is interesting. What I wanted to do was move this and see if we can use our sentry gun to attack one of these. And if it stays shooting it in the air, no, so stop shooting it once it's in the air, which would indicate to me that there's no valid anti-air option for this faction at the moment. And not even valid, there's just none whatsoever. So yeah, interesting, different. He's capturing all my shit. Get away. Yeah, the oil's gone. It's fine. What am I missing? I need to get my hand and nod my barracks back. I don't think we can capture this potentially. That would be pretty sick. Yeah, I really like the medium tank model that they have here. They did a real good job with it. Oh, this is just all instantly gone. God damn, I was hoping to capture this and then build a ref here to take advantage of all this beautiful tib. It looks like you got the airdrop and you also got the tech center over here. So we'll build a second engineer. We'll get this one. Love this engineer model. Don't know why. It's pretty cool. Hey, dude. It's good to see you. You didn't manage to make it first this time. It's the only time I can manage to get to a stream before you is when I'm doing it myself, right? Let's have some revenge. Take out his own tech centers. This guy, I don't know what the deal is with these units. I really need to ask the peeps afterwards. Isn't it the hijacker model? That's what it is. It looks very similar to the hijacker model for sure. Get a few Humvees, build a few more of these things. So we have this captured, so we're going to be able to do a drop. I'd be curious to see what units we get as this faction. We'll send this guy to take this. We'll also get a refinery set up here. May as well enjoy taking the two. Nice. Actually, I really like the like this is the intended color scheme, I believe, for this faction, and it looks really nice. I tend to find that a lot of Tibsun mods, when they're adopting these sort of older-ish sprite effects for like Humvees and medium tanks, it tends to look quite off. But honestly, like, these are probably some of the better Humvee and medium tank models I've seen for any Tibsun mod. So well done to the devs for setting that up. And you can see once you have the tech shop set up that these tanks all have the little repair icon, lets you know they're going to auto repair over time. So yeah, it's pretty cool. We'll send our power drop around the back here, see how it goes. Nice. The little mini parachutes, pretty cool. Our base is still intact, which is nice. Yeah, exactly, Mez. It doesn't look out of place. Like, it fits the dynamic of what they're doing really well. It's making models for like this aesthetic is really hard to do. And it's not until you actually go to do it and you realize, like, if you ever tried to make your own custom voxel and make it fit into like the aesthetic of something like this, it can be a pain in the ass. Another known bug is that these nod radars are invincible, so you need to use an engineer to capture it. That's fine. Also having a really difficult time trying to get past the walls here and take out this Conyard. Seem to be doing very poor damage overall with these medium tanks. Which makes me want to get a whole bunch of infantry. But you can see there's not doing a huge amount of damage against the buildings. Yeah, for sure, man. Do check it out. I'll likely be putting the VOD up on YouTube with timestamps as well, so if people want to just quickly skim through and see what a specific faction looks like, they can do that. All my tanks here died? What? Okay, so we managed to take out the turret. Let's just clean up what we can here, I suppose. Like, these tanks just don't seem to be doing any damage whatsoever. Wow, that's really weird. Like, they seem to be fine against the defensive structures, but against these static ones, they're just doing no damage. Huh, weird. And then, of course, the sentry's just tearing through all the infantry that I managed to get out. Where do we have this set to rally? Here. We're going to send in a whole bunch of engineers. That'll make it better, right? Power drop. We can send a power drop around the back. Try to get these guys up here. Yeah, no dealing with the paper factory in Tibsun, thankfully. Actually has somewhat decent help. Okay, well, let's see what we can try capture here. Not going to be able to get any of those engineers in the Conyard. What? Low power for some reason? Okay, we're going to have to just mass up our units over here, I guess. So that's good. We got those going. We got these going. I guess I'll put a barracks here. Maybe here and try to fit a war factory here, but I don't know if it's going to fit. Oh, and we do have... I'll be curious to see, actually, if we can put an engineer and repair this. So I was saying there wasn't an option to repair this bridge here, but it's actually just in the center instead. It's clever. It forces both players to move towards the middle. We'll see if we can send in this meme unit if he manages to make it across the map. So we want to put this... I think a war factory would probably fit here, so we'll put the barracks here. Make this primary. Put him here. Get our engineer, see if he can repair the bridge. I imagine he can. but it's good to just go through the motions of validating this stuff. So I'll put these on guard mode. Yeah, we got the repaired bridge. It's cool. It's really nice. We can keep our tanks now lined up here on the bridge, so when the harvesters come across it, we just farm it. Yeah, we're going to get the war factory down too. Sweet. Whoops. Get our harvester back here. Overall, models look very cool. As you can see, these don't do super good damage against buildings, but they are doing very effective damage against vehicles and the static defenses for the most part. Wonder if they'll path better. I'm not sure how much work the devs have put into solving pathing issues on this, at least yet. So I think the trick here is to use the tanks to take out these turrets, or at least absorb the shots, and then get the minigunners to go for the Conyard. Because man, this thing is a tank. I don't know what's up with that. I think it's just the nature of the vehicles for this faction. Might need some balance tweaks. I guess I should just spam Humvees if I know that the tanks aren't going to be amazing. We'll set this as primary. I mean, we may as well put them on the bridge, right? Repair seems boosted. Possibly. We did get the Conyard though, so at this point they can't rebuild, so it's kind of just a matter of time now. I am enjoying these closer matches. I didn't expect it to be this challenging. Some of that is just a matter of spending time to figure out the balance between the different factions. Hopefully there's been some useful things picked up from the games here that the devs can check out afterwards. Might be useful. Hey Mark, how's it going? Good to see you. Oh wow, these these Humvees compared to the tanks are just shredding the vehicles. Could the Humvees hold infantry like the APC? Not these ones. The way that they've balanced it is some of the GDI factions have a rocket APC, so it's kind of like a Titan that can hold up to 5 infantry. Whereas these are just... this faction doesn't seem to have anything like that. Yeah, those Humvees absolutely wreck. Holy shit. I was there like absolutely pumping out the medium tanks, doing it all wrong. We do need to get our engineer set up. I am curious, if I put the primary point on this... I can't put it on the structure. I was wondering if I could like primary stuff to a structure and just auto attack it. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Yeah, who needs tanks when you got all this? Like I was saying earlier, I really love the aesthetic of the blue promotion symbols too. It's a nice effect. Yeah, it's pretty kick-ass. Oh, we got a little MCV here. Give ourselves some power. Let's get them, boys. We'll just watch the Humvees tear through this. That's a little bit weird. Like the medium tanks, like you could have 50 of them and it just wasn't doing any damage, but like a couple of Humvees just takes it out, no problem. That's awesome. Yeah, the animation was really nice for the Humvees too. Huge fan. That was probably my favorite faction today. I wasn't sure what the meme units were about, but yeah, that was that was great fun to see. Da, 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 da. So I think we've checked out playing nearly all of the factions. We didn't really play the Nod ones, we more so saw the opponent play them. So I guess we'll try out Black Hand. Against Corp. Sure, we'll go with random colors now and see how that kind of pans out. What I'll actually do is I'll probably go for a 4. What resolution do you play? I can check that for you now. I don't recall. I think it's like 2080. Currently for this I'm playing 1920 by 1080. Usually I play these Tib Sun mods at like 1280 by something else, just to get it a bit more bigger. But for this I'm just using the defaults. Okay, let's try a 2v2 and see if we can like what's a good example? Sure, Meds. You can use ! Iron Shock to get the download link for this too. Yeah, let's see. This could be absolutely brutal, but let's see. I quite like playing as the Corp, so I'm going to play as Corp with an AI playing as the Scrin. Screw it. If we're going to do it, we may as well do it right. Let's go for a huge one, right? Make him all hard AI. I'm going to regret this. It's going to be painful, but I'll go as Corp and I'll see if I can just spam those Humvees and if that'll actually work in our favor. Quite liked the civilian. We're going to have 4 allies, or 3 allies I guess, and then 4 opponents. No idea how well this is going to run or how well it scales or if it's going to kill my PC, but we'll see. Yeah, Mark, that's the cool thing with Iron Shock. It was initially planned as a kind of like follow-on to Warzone, which they have built on the Tib Sun engine, but they were restricted by, from what I understand, stuff like trying to have multiple factions and a couple of other aspects to it, so they switched to a different engine, which is a huge overhead for them to deal with. So we're going to go Corp, Scrin, Forgotten, Cabal. We'll go for these kind of more unusual factions against... let's go against Nod. So we'll go against Nod, Blackhand, Marked of Kane, and ZOCOM, I guess. Why not? Sweet. Start points. Let's have a look at the map. Like, well, left versus right. So usually I tend to, like, for these kind of competitive maps, go left v right instead of top v bottom because of weird ref balance stuff. So I'm going to go 1, 7, 3, and 5. 1, 3, 5, and 7. It doesn't really matter. So where am I spawning? I'm spawning on 1, 1, 3, 5, 7, and they can spawn wherever the hell they want. On the other side of the map. Cool. I'm going to turn on multi-engineer because I don't want them to flood my base with like a bunch of single cap engies. Brutal AI is a toggleable option, but I think this is going to be difficult enough as it is. Yeah. Okay. We can try this. This is going to be an absolute mess, but yeah, we'll try be a bit more serious about how we approach this one. So instead of explaining the different units, we'll see if we can like optimize our build or something. Cool. This will be chaos. Control chaos though. Shit. Minimize that. There we go. Okay. Let's go, boys. I have shared vision with my allies. Very cool. So you can actually see how the AI builds out. It's always nice. This, we want to get ourselves a ref. It's the AI expanding in very similar fashion. I'm going to use waypoints to get some scouting action going on, see if we can spot what our opponents are doing. Yeah, the animations for these things are beautiful. Scrin is by far the most visually amazing overhaul I've seen so far. The Forgotten? Is that the Forgotten? These guys? Pretty effective too. Get a war factory set up. Okay, so our opponent's right on top of us here. We want to get ourselves some of these. Oil in the Tiberian War. Hey, look. You gotta use the assets you have, man. push these in. Cool. We're gonna put our war factory here, nice and forward, build off the tech derrick. Yeah, and now we're just going to go with mass Humvees because they seemed incredibly powerful. 30 appears to be the limit for your unit production queue as well. So if you were curious about how that goes, time is just. I suppose we'll get a couple medium tanks for good measure as well. We want to keep a few sentry guns because we've been caught off guard a couple times. This is one thing that's a little bit peculiar about playing as white, being able to tell the default color of the civilian structures against your own. So I didn't know if I'd captured this or not, so I have to check by hovering over it. But that's my own fault for choosing white. Get our radar set up. How are our allies doing? Looking alright, looking alright. Again, you got these cool like kind of slave miner effect units. We got like 5 or 6 to this harv, whereas here you've got the floating dudes depositing into the refs. Again, the war factory, the hand and nod looks so nice. And then up here you got the power plant, you got the hand and nod, you got the ref, you got the war factory. Looks like that their defaulting is to open up with quite a bunch of harvesters, so I'll probably do that myself. It's really better, more optimal, I guess, in terms of your crawl. I'm gonna see if I can get over towards this tip field. Go like power plant, ref here maybe. Put us in a nice forward position. Can we do it? We can. Hell yeah. Might be able to even fit a ref here. Let's see. Try it out. And now I'm not quite sure what was in the middle of this map. It had a few more kind of darker sections. Maybe it's blue tube. That would be pretty nice. What are our allies doing? Still looking good here. Scrin's behaving themselves. This puts EA's efforts to shame. You're definitely having fun with this one after your night shift. Hell yeah, man. Hit me up for I'm not actually sure. I don't know if one of the devs is in chat still, if you can actually actively play this on CNCnet at the moment. I know there's an option in the menu, but it's hard to distinguish between what's just Yuri's Revenge lobbies versus what's actually for this specific mod. But yeah, I would definitely be down to try some of this out multiplayer. It is blue tib, you're right, Lunik. A beautiful glow. We're gonna have to crawl towards that direction. I don't want to attack into my opponent just yet. Like, I kind of want to get an idea for like how the different factions build, so we can have a look, show it off a bit. For the most part, these bases are following a pretty similar build order from what I can see in terms of trying to expand upwards. Hey, Deuce! Nice. Nice. That's cool. If you want to, if you're around after this game, we can try and do a multiplayer, see how that actually looks. Or if anyone else wants to try it out. Because we've seen more or less all the factions at this point. So my plan was after showing off each individual faction to either switch to Warzone or try and get some multiplayer on this. Don't know why you're the admin. I think it shows everyone as the admin as soon as you go onto it, but I'm not sure. Could be wrong. And I really hope these Humvees are as effective as I think they are. Otherwise this is going to be a pretty brutal devastation for me. It does seem that the factions don't tend to attack outwards, and that might be something you can trigger with the brutal AI option that we saw. They might be more offensive. We need this to get ourselves a second Conyard. We need ourselves an engineer, get this tech derrick. Build some more infantry. Though we can scout with a buggy, I don't know why I'm not just doing that. Let's get some nice vision going. And if you can make it back, great, but we don't have high expectations. So we'll see. Here's our dude. We're going to be able to get our, actually going to be able to build a ref off this, so we don't even have to worry about this crawl too much. It's pretty nice. It's kind of beginnerish friendly. Units do take quite a while to go up and down slopes, it's something worth noting, but I think that's pretty similar from across all the Tib Sun games. but it is something to just be aware of. Hey Noah, welcome on in. Stream89 is also live on Twitch. Nice! I didn't know he was streaming some of this. That's awesome. If he's in the multiplayer lobbies, for sure I can try and match up with him afterwards. I suppose we can build a few. Oh, this faction uses the siege choppers, which don't seem to be as effective, but well, we can try it. We can build a few. We do also want to get an MCV, just a second one in case they manage to sniper first. We do also want to get a war factory more forward, just to have multiple war factories. Stick these on guard mode so they're not just getting shot at for free. Pop this down. Nice. Get a war factory. Cool. Just pull back a little bit. No need to engage this super quick. Does it play with viewers? It can be, Noah. Currently, I was just going through the process of checking out each individual faction in quick little skirmishes. But we've just gone through all the factions, and now we're having a quick 4v4 just to see what the AI does as these individual factions and how it plays out. But I'm totally down to be joining some CNC lobbies after this if people want to get some team games going, or even some 1v1s or something. Sounds like fun. Cool. Nice. Okay. I think we've got a good enough force here. If we go to our radar station, you can see that our planes have appeared. But yeah, let's see if all the AI decides to retaliate if you attack your opponent. Because I know obviously your opponent's going to react when you attack them, but curious if they have any kind of default AI behavior to support each other. Possibly not. Again, it is early days. And this is a little, you can see here it's slowing down a little bit, I think. Just when there's so much action going on. But for the most part, like, this is running pretty well. Nice. Let's go. Probably don't want all. You can like shift and right click to cancel all of your units too that you've got queued up. It's a nice quality of life improvement. Get a few of these going here, a few of these going here. Nice. I'm sorry. Who gave this guy permission to attack my base? What is this? Shenanigans. Okay, just make sure we stay alive there. I think we're going to be okay. I think I cracked the code with this faction in terms of just build mass Humvees and you should be okay. These allies? I hope these are allies. These are not allies. Shit! Don't panic. We got this. Nice. Yeah, we'll get a few turrets just scattered around the place because they seem to like just appearing from the edges. Like I wouldn't expect them to attack me from the bottom down when my allies are like here, here, and here. As you can see, like the AI doesn't seem to be really massing an army to attack. It's more of a static set up your base and hold the line situation, which is fine. Nice. We got some action over here. Just want to be careful. Make sure we're still queuing up lots of lovely units. Oh, we got a MCV here. Must have been from Crave. Oh, this is the second MCV we built earlier. I never actually got around to using it. So this is where it lives now. we also want to get ourselves a rack setup so that we can capture this. Again, the nod comm centers are invincible at the moment, so you want to be able to capture it. How are we looking? We all okay back here? Yeah, we're looking. It's looking okay. This should be the first AI component down. Hell yeah, let's go. You can do your classic shift drag to select more units into your group. Oh, and I think this has crashed. Oh, it was going so well. No. What? Oh, that's kind of annoying. No worries, it's crashed there. It might have been just due to the use of hotkeys freaking it out, possibly. But no stress. I can fire up lobby and see if people want to try jump in. You're more than welcome to. It would be cool to see how it handles in a PvP, but I would be quite cautious about how functional this might be. Noah Allen, yeah. I mean, we you know, you could clearly see that we had won that situation. The thing that we were checking out was more so it was more so to see how the AI behaved in terms of when you're attacking it. Do they support each other? The answer there seemed to be kind of no. They're very much independent AIs, which is fine. And then the other thing was just to see how the actual AIs built their bases from the different factions, and they all seem to just basically try and get a steady version of each structure up before doing much else, which is also totally fine. Let's try Scrin. Scrin was kind of fun. Very nice looking faction. In terms of balance, hard to say. But yeah, if Deuce you're around and you're able to jump in, or Mark, or anyone else, or Noah, you're more than welcome to jump in too. You can try it out. Yeah, what do we got going on? Love to see Steel Talon. We can try out some Steel Talon, sure. We can use their default color too. I think faster's probably the ideal speed you want. Starting units, usually you don't tend to play with starting units, but I guess because not familiar with the maps, 3 starting units is nice to be able to explore. They have Titans. I want to say Steel Talons do. One of the factions does, so it's most likely Steel Talons. I think they have the Titans and Wolverines, which is nice. And of course, if people aren't available to play now, that's fine. I can switch off for a bit. I was planning to come on around 6 GMT to try out some Warzone multiplayer too, just to show some of that off. It's a bit more longer. It's been around for a bunch longer, and it's a bit more balanced and things like that. They have Titans. What's it called again? This is Iron Shock. The name of the lobby is I forget what I called it. I called it basically Iron Shock something. Iron Shock, all welcome. There are too many games open. There seems to be a lot of people in the Yuri's Revenge section. I didn't realize it was that popular for the custom matches. Hey Zeno, this is Yuri's Revenge. Oh cool, we got Deuce, we got Noah Allen. So this is Iron Shock. It's a modification for Yuri's Revenge, initially built out to be for Tib Sun, which is why it looks that way. They did a great job. Looks like Deuce is going to play Steel Talon, so maybe we'll let him do that while we stick with... Like, GDI is so strong. It's tricky. Yeah, I can see why you think Tib Sun. It was originally built as a Tib Sun modification, but they needed to do some additional functionality with extra factions and a couple other bits and pieces, so they ported it to Tib Sun. What faction do we want to do? Like GDI is kind of easier. Scrin is probably nice just to show it off. Sorry, meds, but because Deuce is playing Talons, you'll probably see him in the map. Oh, nice. Lunix here. Lunix here with all the boys. Look at this. This is awesome. I usually like my sky blue color, so Traveler 69 seems nice. As Scrin, just to show them off. Why not? Lunic gonna play as Nod. We're gonna need a 2v2 map, I guess. What's a good map? What do we think? This seems okay. Left versus right, and you got like a little choke point in the middle. Let's go 2v2. Be Danka and Noah against the Germans. Could work out. Noah's connection is looking a bit dicey, so we'll see how this actually handles in terms of connectivity. Nice. Need to lock the game room before launching. Lock game. Launch. Hey, that was pretty easy. Okay, Scrin. I'm not really super familiar with Scrin even outside of this this game. I know they're in CNC3. I played it a little bit, not a huge amount. Well, I loaded into the game. Not quite sure if the others will, if this is some issue. Maybe the tunnel used for the server. Lunic, I don't know if you're in chat. Did it load? Your game broke. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, let me close that. Fire it back to here. Lunic was at 100% too. Can I change the tunnel? Because sometimes it can be an issue with the tunnels that are available. So the one with the most is probably the best one to use. This one here's got 43 out of 200. It's an EU based server. I don't know, we could try it. Sure. Yeah, you can restart Deuce. We can just try a different tunnel and see if that works. It's happened to me in a few CNC games sometimes. It was similar for, what was I playing recently? Dawn of the Tiberian Age, I think. I was trying to do some multiplayer matches and we had to change the tunnel a couple times. But yeah, I have to say, so far I'm really impressed with the work that's gone into this. Graphics look very nice. Again, it's free to download. Once you own a copy of Yuri's Revenge and you have it installed, you just go to the link which is in the chat. You can do it off the base version of Yuri's Revenge, but this installation it seems to patch the CNCnet stuff on top of it, which is fine. It was relatively straightforward. The setup, all I had to do was I did a fresh install of Yuri's from EA Origin, and then just applied the batch. Simples. So you use both versions? I don't know, Zeno. I haven't tried to run base Yuri's Revenge after applying the patch. Possibly. Player and Deuce Play has different files compared to the game host. Either Deuce Play or the game host could be cheating. That's fine. I'm going to trust that he's not cheating. Let's try launch it and see. Let's see. Okay, Lunic's in. I'm in. This is better than last time. Deuce is loading in. Okay, okay. And Noah's loading in. Awesome. Let's see if we're going to get it working. CNCNet version is what you used. I just used whatever the base thing from Origin was, to get it up and running. I think Noah might be having a little bit of a rough connection. I suspect he's probably not based in the EU. Cool. Little bit on the laggy side, as you can see. Where's my ally? Down here. Hasn't deployed. Notice if people loaded it one at a time. I think what the case is, I think for me, Deuce and Lunik, we're all based in the EU. I suspect, Noah, you're probably based in the States or somewhere else, maybe? That might be what causes a little bit of the lag connections from the cross-continent stuff. I'm gonna have a real tough time, but I gotta do this on my own, buddy. Ah, okay, you're in America, but you have bad internet. That sucks. Okay. Yuri's Revenge has detected a desynchronization. What? Yes? Question mark? Rip. Beta, by the way. I'm not quite sure what that was about. What we might do, Noah, I know you're having some connection issues. What we might try and do is just do a 3-player for myself, Lunik and Deuce, just for one game, to see if that works. Just in case it is just an issue with your connection. Just so we can show it off a little bit, and hopefully that's okay, and then we can try get you back in next time. You shouldn't need to reinstall these. I don't think the issue wasn't anything to do with you. I think the connectivity issues was primarily down to I'm not sure what the desync stuff was about, but the other issues were just down to the nature of the map. But if you're going to do that, that's fine. Me and Luna can go for a 1v1. Yeah. Okay, Scrin versus Nod. Let's go. Hope you're ready, Lunik. Let's see if this holds up okay. Again, it's only out today. It's very much in beta. The skirmish stuff all worked pretty flawlessly. It was nice. So we'll see how this plays out. Again, we just want to try to show off the game a little bit. It already feels a bit more responsive, which is good. Doesn't feel. It feels relatively good. We'll see if we get sync issues or not. You need to get fiber internet next year. Yeah, it's a real annoying thing when you can't get a reliable internet connection. It's very similar for myself where I'm currently living. My internet connectivity isn't great. I think I get like 30 or 40 down and like up to 20 up, which isn't great for streaming. It's okay, but it's also somewhat inconsistent. I think the stream's been okay for the duration of this so far though, which is good. I think that there were 2 oil derricks back here, so we'll check that out. We'll get a turret set up here. Yeah, we do. Okay, okay. We want to get a war factory set up. Did I queue those engineers? I did. Here they are. So we want one here, we want the other one here. Nice. We'll set up the turret action. And we'll get 2 set up at the bridge here, why not? We want to try get to a tech center and see if we can get a con yard set up towards here. Would be nice if we can take control of the blue tib. I keep forgetting you can't, like, the turrets don't necessarily increase your build radius, which is a common thing I think across Tib Sun. I'm just not used to it. My primary background is more so for Tiberian Dawn. Need a radar tower. So he's playing his Nod. We're going to need extra harvesters. We get 2 harvesters. Do we want the flame tanks or the Titany guys? I think the Titany guys is probably good. I don't think he's going to go mass infantry, but we'll try this. A bit of a combination. Get our radar tower down. Nice. Get some more power. Power drop. Let's see how he deals with this. Should be funny. I should expect the same from him. Oh, he's got a, look at this, he's got a cheeky little rocket man over here. We'll put the power back here. What? Yours revenge detected a desync. That kind of sucks. That's a little bit annoying. Not sure what that's about. That might be a connectivity thing on my end. I'm not sure. I won't waste too much time messing around with it on stream. But thanks for trying it out, Lunik. Appreciate it. We can try it a little bit later on. Maybe we'll have better luck. It's just one of those things where that can happen. He always desyncs when I win. Exactly, Lunik. I was in, like, too afraid to continue the match just in case something happened. Yeah, this is I think it's a good point to end the Iron Shock side of things. So we were able to, again, just to recap, the campaign isn't added into this modification just yet for the beta. What you can do is the skirmish stuff. Like I say, it worked pretty well. Even up to 8 players, you saw I was playing it there. There's very minimal problems. It did crash at one point, but I suspect that's related to my own hardware situation and having played the game for quite a while and it being super demanding. And it only happened when I tried to do a combo of hotkeys, so it could just be down to that fact. But all the other maps, it worked no matter. We tried all the different factions from GDI, Steel Talon, ZOCOM. We tried a bunch of the Nod ones, Black Hand, Mark to Kane. We tried Scrin, which is pretty cool. Definitely my favorite graphically speaking. Cabal was interesting for sure, Forgotten too. And then Corp had the cool old school Humvees and medium tanks. Yeah, no, we can try again later for sure. A path beyond free for all? No, that's I can do that's a lot. What I can try and do is just as a final thing for Iron Shock for now, is we can do a free for all with brutal AI turned on and see if that actually changes how the AI behaves. I'm gonna regret this. Pretty sure. We'll go as you wanted to see Steel Talons, Meds? Are you still in chat? If you are, I'll play Steel Talons. If not, I'll play something else. What color do we want? We'll go for Phoenix. Nah, I'll go civilian. Yeah, you're here, Meds. Nice. Yeah, sure, we'll try it Steel Talon. We'll go against at least one Nod player, one Scrin player, and we'll go up against Forgotten or Corp. We'll see what the AI does against Corp. We haven't played them a huge amount. We'll set them up. These are all to random. We'll put them all on different teams. Yes, I'm giving myself the island spawn because I don't know what mess I'm getting myself into here. So I need to give myself a fighting chance. But yeah, in-game allying. You can also have in-game ally, which is a pretty cool feature. Starting units, we're just going to put it back to 3. Yeah, let's see how this goes. So you like? Yeah, it's more true to the a lot of the Warzone elements that was the original mod that these devs made and worked on. So it'll be cool to see this stuff. Nice. Alright, a power plant. Give a hand nod, aka barracks. As you can see, you've got the standard kind of the distrolls are actually grenadiers in this. They don't work like distrowers, they work as grens. I want to get this. get a load of grants, a few of these dudes. Yeah. You were dead. Lunik, have some faith. But yeah, I have no idea how brutal AI will behave with this mod. Imagine 100-player maps for CNC Battle Royale. I think most games will even struggle with 8. In the recent remasters, I'm trying to think of like all the online CNC games I played. The remasters with Red Alert up to 8 players struggles hard trying to work. Why can't I put this here? There's like a little dent or something. But yeah, even Red Alert and the remasters trying to keep up with like the amount of tanks for 4 players at a certain point, it just chokes up completely. It'll be fun though. Fun concept. Okay, Scrin is already coming my way. Gonna hold the line, boys. Get our war factory safely back here, get more power. He's coming. We're gonna need a whole bunch of Wolverines. We're gonna need more defensive structures. Hold the line. We're gonna set the waypoints for these construction structures up to here. Oh, this isn't good. Lost my Conyard too. And it's all down here from here. Down here? Downhill from here. I'm gonna have a hard time trying to recuperate with just these resources. Unless the AI is going pretty difficult against itself, which I don't think it is. I'm alive. I am alive. Don't have much, but I have a war factory. Can we pull it back? Probably not. Wolverines, minigunners seem to be a lot more effective than single turret units in this. And those defensive turrets are so strong. So what we'll do is we'll try just rush a load of Wolverines and see how far we get. Only got 30k left. Yeah, and all the Tib detonated too, just for good measure. Absolutely ripped. Hey DJ, it's good to see you. I haven't thought about it. I didn't really think about changing that. I can. We'll see. Maybe we'll get an MCV out of the crate. Oh, how good would that be? Oh, come on, MCV. We got a promotion. Tib gap detonation could be abused in competitive play. Yeah, for sure. Who set that poll? Lunik, I'm looking at you. Harvester's quite fast. They're actually useful for scouting, I suppose. If I can't have Tib, neither can any of the opponents. Chat believes in you, that's all I need. Come on, boys, we can do this. It's only brutal AI. And we can detonate all the Tib here too, so let's absolutely abuse that. And the problem is we all have the same starting cash anyway, so like it's going to be pretty tricky for me to pull this out either way. But yeah, you can see that the AI is in fact being a lot more aggressive when you have brutal AI turned on, which is good. It's what you want if you're playing that specific game mode. You never know, we might get lucky with a crate. That's kind of the only thing that might save us properly here. And if the AI attacks each other instead of me, that would be great. But it seems the likelihood of that is quite low. And also, if any of these bridges blow up, I am so screwed because I cannot build engineers. Hold the line. Save money for a ref. Can't build a ref. Oh, you mean once I get a Yeah, once I get an actual MCV, it's not a bad shit. But at the same time, chances of me even getting an MCV are quite low. Focusing on these turrets first, then cleaning up the infantry, going for his Conyard. Hell yeah. We're going to take at least one of these guys down with us. That's the good news. Might actually get... We might... Do you think... we might be okay. I think it's going to be at least a little bit tricky. If you see any crates or anything on screen that I missed, let me know. Shoot the green tip. Good call. Prevent him from getting the resources. Scrin kind of screwed me over last time. I'm not going to be able to get that crate. Okay. So this attack went badly. Trying to get through Scrin is quite painful, I've found so far. We're gonna take out at least one of these AI guys though. Hell yeah! That's a moral victory for me, right? Maybe we'll find a nice crate over here. I'm just loosely keeping an eye on my eco. These are what, 500? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Should be okay to get that many and still be able to afford a refinery if we get a MCV in a crate. AI walled MCV. I think these can shoot through it. Just in case they can't, I'll get a couple of Titans. But I think they shoot over the walls, or they have done here without having to break the wall. But it's no harm to get a couple of Titans mixed in here. As requested, meds, you wanted to see some Titans? There they are. Titans in Warzone, by the way, look absolutely phenomenal. Big fan of the remodel they did for it. We'll take this weak guy and put him back here. We'll repair this in case he just decides to pop into my base. Okay. What are we thinking? What are my chances here, boys? I think I just need to send all these towards the Scrin and hope I get them. And if I beat the Scrin, then whoever is this third faction I might be okay against. Maybe. Sounds like they got a battle on their hands. So that's always nice. Means I don't have to do some initial attacks. Can these force the Tib to blow up? Probably not. Probably need an explosive warhead. Do need to pull a couple of these back just to make sure I don't lose the war factory. GDI, just destroy it. Unfortunately, that's not the case. Let them mine out and kill each other. Yeah, it's not a bad shout. If we, in the meantime, just try and suss out some crates, that'd be cool. You say, I want to get my guys back here and defend. Might bring the majority of my army just back here to be safe. Wasn't paying attention. But gonna get this guy's Conyard. Hell yeah, boys. Let's go. Now if they've if I can just get their production buildings, then they can't build any more units. I think I've got a big enough army to take on the Scrin base. Oh look, and they come. Perfect. Hell to the yeah. It looks like I'm not getting an MCV. I don't know, I'm kind of torn between whether or not I should just build the units. We got a crate. Will this be it, boys? Will this be it? Imagine if I managed to get the Conyard back. Oh, how perfect would that be? We can let the AI take out this guy, it's fine. There's no incentive for us to engage. send one here, one here. It's us versus the Scrin left. Did we get the... No, we didn't get an MCV. Dang. What do you think, boys? We just send it? I'm just going to hold for this attack. We'll pull back just so that they can get some damage taken from this turret. And our units survive a little bit. What do we got? Yeah, the AI is opting to send it. We just gotta hold the line. GDI versus the Scrin. Let's go. Yes. I can repair this. Hell to the yeah. Okay, these guys are kind of slow, but whatever. It's fine. Okay, I think we just gotta go for it. He's done his little send. That's how CNC5 ended. Pretty much. Don't know how crate spawn logic generally works in Red Alert. They probably modified it for this anyway, but since he's sending it again, I'm just going to keep my units here at the bridge. Here we go. Oh, 4 never happened. I thought that that was a universally agreed truth in the CNC community. There was never any 4. Can we do it? It's going to be pretty tight. Like, the Scrin just has so many units. I'm just gonna have to send it and hope for the best. And you know what's gonna happen. I'm gonna pick up a crate as soon as I'm in his base. Oh, he's got an engineer. Let's keep a Wolverine or 2 back here, because if he gets all my structures, it's GG. I kind of forgot that. Oh, are we gonna do it? Let's go. Get them all down the cliff first so they attack at the same time. We'll keep a couple of Titans back here just in case, because these guys are going to come in. No crate action. Alright, let's go. He's doing it, boys! He's gonna do it! Need to take out the Conyard. What's hitting me? Okay, okay, okay. GG! Easy! Who said brutal AI was hard? Come on. Didn't even need a base. Hell yeah. Clutch War Factory. Scripted. I couldn't script that if I tried. It was pretty cool. So yeah, brutal AI is the way to go if you want a more balanced enemy who's going to attack you. It seems if you leave the default AI, it'll just kind of stay static and maybe send out 1 or 2 units. Would have been nice if we got an MCV in a crate just to pull it back, but we didn't need it in the end. GG's. That was awesome. That was a lot of fun. Wow. Awesome. So yeah, that's gonna do it for our look at Iron Shock. I can definitely recommend playing this. That was a hell of a lot of fun. All the different factions have their own unique feel to it. It'll take some practice to get used to what factions exactly use what structures. There's obviously a couple of little bugs here and there, but like, to be honest, just the fun of that like greatly outweighs any of those problems. Like I don't care if I have to use an engineer to capture an outpost, or if the air units aren't optimized at the moment, or working correctly, like whatever. There was too much fun to not enjoy. So well done again to the devs for sure. If there was complaining, what faction would be your first pick? If you mean competing, Mads, I would say out of all the factions that are here, I would pick the ones that have access to either Wolverines, so the Steel Talon, or the Corp, who have the Humvees, because it just seems at the moment with the way the balance is that infantry or units that are using the minigun kind of fire are super effective against buildings. And that was what really saved me there. Like if I didn't go mass Wolverines, I would have lost that, I think. I would say Nod is probably at a disadvantage currently, with the way the balance looks, and Scrin still need to figure it out a bit. Yeah, there's a nice combination, a lot of different aspects there. It's going to be a nightmare to try and balance something like that competitively, but I can see that being a huge amount of fun, especially for scripted single player campaign stuff. Definitely a lot of fun. And even those skirmish matches we have at the start of some of those PvP games are good fun too. But yeah, I think I'm gonna close the stream there just for the moment. My plan is at 6 p.m. GMT, so that's I think it's 7 my time, so it's what, 4, 5, 6, like 2.5-ish hours. I'll hop back on and actually try out some Warzone. It's the other mod that the guys made, who just released this. It's a lot more fully fleshed out. They've basically redone the Tib Sun campaign and Firestorm campaign, so you can actually play through all those missions with their balance, and there's some tweaks in terms of the actual gameplay and stuff to it. I'll also check out their skirmishes, which they've added a whole bunch of new units to, which are really fun to play, especially as GDI. There's some cool gunships and stuff, so we'll check that out. And then we'll hop on CNCnet and see if we can get some Warzone games without desync issues, hopefully. But we'll see how that plans out. But yeah, that's gonna do it for now. Thanks very much, guys, for dropping by. Thanks to the devs for putting out this great game. Definitely recommend it. I'll put the link in chat as well, so if you are interested in checking it out, the link for it is there. You can go download it. It's free so long as you own the base Yuri's Revenge game and have it installed. You just copy the mod files and put it in the same folder. All very painless process. But yeah, thanks very much, guys. I'll see you in a couple hours. I'll be sure to share the stream and stuff on the various Discord channels too. If Stream 89 is still streaming some Iron Shock, hell to the yeah, we'll drop him a raid. Sounds like a plan. Cheers for that, Deuce. And thanks for dropping in, guys, and trying out the multiplayer stuff too. Again, on release date, it can be a little bit sketchy, but it was lots of fun. So yeah. And GG's. And thanks for all the follows and all that good stuff. See you later. Peace out.
So viel gebaut. Nur keine Leute. Hey Danku, thanks for the raid. And good afternoon to the rest.